Hello and welcome to an insightful episode of National Vibe. My name is Nanaya Charles. You can call me NYC for short. You can also call me Charlie Thursday and I'll still respond to you. Today we dive deep into the soul of the nation with a very thought-provoking conversation. And I'm not doing this alone. I'm doing this with my co-host, Royalty.
That's right. And we have two amazing guests here with us, and we'll be discussing and diving into the issue of development in our country. We want to know whether this country's development has been on the right path so far. And with that, we have two amazing guests here with us, and they will be well introduced after this break. Stay with us.
I want to remind you that this program is proudly sponsored by DAYSTYLLE Fashion. At DAYSTYLLE Fashion, we say every day in style, and FekaTek Ventures. At FekaTek Ventures, we say we are here to serve. Okay, so welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Like I already said, we are having a very thought-provoking conversation. It's been 6 decades when the chains of colonial rule got broken and we raised the flag and said freedom, when our then head of state stood on the platform and said that Ghana, my beloved country, is free forever. Ghana, our beloved country, is free forever. And so today, this is our big question. From independence to impact, is Ghana's development on the right path? And to do this, we have amazing guests in our midst. And so I'd like to introduce Mr. On my right, I have Mr. Francis Kasim Obeng. He is an educationist, he's a philanthropist, he is a political analyst, and he's also an entrepreneur.
That's right. And on my right-hand side is Mr. Joseph Tete, popularly known as Joe T. He is a youth activist, an entrepreneur, and with a background in IT and management, he serves as a director of communications at the Grace Life Leadership Center and supports corporate communications at McDan Group. He is passionate about leadership, youth development, and national impact, and he brings a bold voice to social transformation.
Great. We have big men in our midst today.
Definitely.
And I believe that the conversation is going to be quite fun, very educative, and very thought-provoking, like I said from before. Gentlemen, you're looking very great.
And you are very much welcome.
Thank you.
You're very much welcome.
Great.
Thank you, Charles.
Okay, so let's start from the top.
Yeah.
We are going to start with you, Mr. Kasim.
All right.
In your own perspective, what do you think the term independence and development mean, respectively?
Thank you very much for this question. When we talk about independence, it's a whole topic on its own, a very broad topic on its own. That's when a country decides to be self-reliant. The country is not going to depend on any country for its development in all sectors. I would like to describe the 3 types of independence that I actually know. That is the national independence, that's the financial independence, and we have the philosophical independence. So I'll start with the national independence first before I'll come, because when we talk about the national, we are talking about the broad fields. So let's look at the broad fields, then I'll come and do the breakdown. So when we talk about independence, since independence, and we look at Ghana's history and where Ghana has come from, since on the 6th of March, when our first Prime Minister and first President of this nation, the late His Excellency Dr. Kwame Francis Nkrumah, right after independence, he started putting up developmental projects, and I can say that he has actually made a lot of impact when it comes to independence, since he decided to fight for self-governance, because that was his motive when he left the UGCC, when he was called by JB Dankwa and Pa Grant. Back then, when he was schooling, they decided to call him back to Ghana for him to become the secretary of the UGCC. That was then. He accepted it, but later realized that no, with the policies that JB Dankwa and Pa Grant and the other individuals who were part of the Big Six were building, he didn't feel comfortable and when he was not in line with those ones. So what he did was he decided to form his own party, which is the CPP. And he is the founder of the CPP. When Kwame Nkrumah, through his CPP, gained independence, these are some of the projects he did. When you look at the energy sector, he built a Konsumo dam, that's a hydroelectric dam, the first and ever hydroelectric dam in Africa. Then he decided he didn't just stop there. He moved on to Tema Harbor. He created companies. When you look at the N1 way, the Temamoto way, he did it. When we look at agriculture to at large, he did much agricultural development, a lot. When you go to the western region, there's a very huge farms that's Kwame Nkrumah did. And by then, the national service that today the NDC are saying that students should go to the military field to go and have a military training. By then, this is what Kwame Nkrumah do. When you are down with the A level or the O level, you go and do your national service as a farmer and you get paid. These are some of the developmental things he said. So when we are looking at independence, Kwame Nkrumah actually stood for independence for Ghana in the beginning. So that's my share on independence and what he laid the foundation. And looking at this aspect, we cannot talk about independence without Kwame Nkrumah in Ghana today. We cannot talk about independence and Kwame Nkrumah's name will not come in.
Okay, and also your take on development.
Yes.
I think you merged it in one. But
yes.
You have a take on development.
Yes,
what do you also term as development?
Development. Yes. I term development as a progressive improvement in a society. So, you know, we have types of development. I don't know which one are we looking at, but we look at a broad field of development. We are looking at a progressive improvement in whatever development we are talking about. So, development, we are looking at improvement.
So,
progressiveness.
Progressive.
Yes. That's what we are looking at.
Great. So with yours, I think I'll come back to you.
Thank you very much.
We ended progressive improvement when it comes to development.
Yes.
Okay, so let me move to you, Jyoti. So what he was saying, we're talking about independence and development. What's your take on that, respectively? What do you understand by the term, or what's your definition about the term, independence and development, respectively?
Thank you so much for this opportunity, and a good afternoon to your cherished viewers. Yes, in addition to what Kasim said, I would love to say that together, independence and development are Ghana's promise to turn freedom into progress for every citizen. Now, independence in its sense is Ghana's freedom so that we can govern itself, to make its own laws, and also to shape its future without foreign control. And we achieving that, as is stated clearly by ex-president or former Prime Minister, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah.
Yeah.
Yes, clearly you could see that there have been a lot of ongoing transformation. And in terms of development, it is not only about money, but then we are looking at how we can better the lives of our people through education, through accessible healthcare, and then also decent jobs and fairness for every Ghanaian, from rural farmers to urban youth. It's about building an infrastructure or a society where everyone feels included. And with infrastructure like roads and hospitals reaching every corner, as many Ghanaians have always been hoping for. So clearly, freedom or independence and development has always been the tapestry, or has been a fiber or the fabric that Ghana is ruling on. And it has been very progressive, and there's been an ongoing transformation so far.
Great. You. So I'll just push it this way to at your end before I come to you, Mr. Right. Since you just finished it, I just have to give it to you right away. Wow, great one there. So Jyoti, would you classify Ghana as an independent country based on your definition?
Absolutely. Ghana is absolutely independent, running its own government, holding a free and fair elections, and managing its resources since 1957. And I mean, with a strong democracy, that has been a model in Africa, as seen in peaceful power transitions like 2016 and 2024. However, economic reliance on the foreign loans like the 3 billion IMF bailout in 2023 and trade dependence on cocoa and oil can limit our choices, making some Ghanaians feel we are fully free, or Ghanaians will personally feel like we are not fully free. So clearly, true independence means that we need to control our economy as confidently as our politics. And we are a sovereign country, but economic change, we need to break it up so that at least we can work. But so far, so good. I think there've been a lot of progress, but there are other issues here and there, which I believe with time, and as we are moving forward with our policies and changing governance, I believe that there are going to be a positive outcome and a transformation that we all seek and we all wish for.
So with what you are saying right now, if I may add, or I may question what you are saying right now, you are trying to say that yes, Ghana has gained independence. Ghana is independent at the moment, but not totally independent.
Yeah, not totally, because I mean, Ghana is independent. It's only in when it comes to our sovereignty, but then in terms of economically, we are not, because as it stands now, we are on IMF bailout. Yeah. That we are all trying to see how we can handle and control things here and there. So clearly, being frugal with our economy and all that. So you could see that we are not fully self-reliant. But like I always say, with this government, the initiative they are bringing on board, I believe with time, looking at how stable our currency is and how it is appreciating, I believe it's an ongoing transformation, and I'm very positive that
with this government, I'll end there.
Okay, Mr. Kasim, let's come to you. Do you also think that Ghana has truly gained independence?
Yes, I would say that Ghana has gained independence, but we still depend on foreign aids. So financially, Ghana hasn't gained independence, but with the freedom and justice we're seeking from, that we didn't want the British to rule us again. We have that. We have our own leadership, but financially, we still depend on foreign aid. So I would say we've gained our independence. We wanted self-governance. Yes, we are having the self-governance today. We have our self-governance, but yes, still instead of we using our materials to be able to finance our governance, we still go about seeking financial independence. So with self-governance, we have it. Self-control, we want to control ourselves. But financially, Ghana, we are not independent. I will say that. Yes.
Great. I like what you said. You have made it clear that Ghana is independent in some aspects.
Yes.
But in some other aspects too, they are not independent. Back to you, Joti. You said something that interests me a lot. You said that under this governance, you think that Ghana would be able to move forward, which our current governance is by John Mahama. Yes, His Excellency John Mahama under the NDC, party. Are you saying that even though over all these years we've not really been able to gain independence, but under this governance we'll be able to gain independence, as in full independence, from what you were saying?
Thank you so much. So, this is my perspective. There is an ongoing progress, and this government, under this government, there's going to be a transformative governance, because look at the measures they put in place. This is something we've always been seeking and yearning for. We are looking for a governance where leadership will always set the example. And clearly you could see that this current government are setting the example. That's notwithstanding. I'm not saying the 8 years of President Akufo-Addo is not right or is not good, but there are certain things that they did that even it reflected in the 2024 vote. In the history of our country, look at the number or the percentage or the number of votes that the NDC garnered. Clearly, you could see that we are really, really seeking and looking out for independence. So if I say that under this government there's going to be full independence, it started from the elections and the electoral outcome.
So from what you are saying right now, which I'm picking from the words that you said, all you're trying to say is that the people think that this government can bring change to the nation.
Definitely. I mean,
That is why they voted.
Which is so clear, because you could see that there's been ongoing transformation. Look at the policies that we've put in place. Look at the measures. And most of the policies that His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama is rolling out, you could see there's not any ice or pie in the sky policies, but policies that we can all resonate, policies that clearly we could all relate to and say that this is something that is going on in our life, in us. Recently, look at the D levy that was passed. Now look at it. Upon the high rise or the conflict within the foreign war and all that, you could see clearly they have to hold it up. The E levy, what didn't we say about it? Yet it was passed. At the end of it, it was cancelled. E levy has been cancelled, and today you could see it has given Ghanaians some level of respect or some level of peace and harmony that now you can even do your mobile money transfer with ease.
I'm not cutting you with whatever you're saying right now. Not to put more pressure on you, Mr. I'll come to you soon.
Right.
But with what you were saying, I want us to delve deep a bit.
Yeah.
Are you saying that the other government didn't do anything that could have impacted the independence of Ghana, or as in put us in that state as Ghana being independent?
No. The 8 years of President Akufo-Addo, I mean, at the first 4 years, we could all say that it was cool. It was good. I mean, everybody was happy. But until the last 4 years, everybody was just complaining everywhere. And it became like an albatross on our neck. Why am I saying this? If I'm saying the independent, not necessarily means the president or the former president took us into some level of maybe he didn't let us have peace. But you could see clearly, we are all talking about independence here.
Okay,
and
great.
then the independence, yes, we have the free, fair elections. I mean, sovereignty and all that. But in terms of economy, that is why I'm saying that we are not independent. Okay. So where I am coming from is my independence with relation, comparing the current government and the extra Akufo-Addo, His Excellency Akufo-Addo's governance is in terms of economy. Because clearly you could see there's some level of economic relief in this current governance compared to the former governance.
Okay.
That is your
That's fine.
Yeah, thank you
Mr.
so
Joseph,
much. I stand by that.
Thank you very much. Let's come to Mr. Kasim. What do you think about what he said? He is saying that this government did more, am I right?
Yeah.
Than what the previous government did.
No, they are doing more. So they are in the process.
They are in the
ongoing
process.
transformation. They are ongoing transformation.
All right.
Yeah.
So what is your take on that?
Okay. I must say that he has made his view.
Definitely.
And when we look at since independence, when we are to talk about developmental issues, there are 3 major political parties that has played a role.
Sure.
And since from 1992, that was from 1992 2000 when NDC left, then MPP came to take over from 2001 to 2007. Yes, there were major projects that took place. That was then His Excellency John ADZoone Kufuor, who was the then president.
Sure.
Yes, there were developmental projects that he kept, and I must say he did well with his government. From there came His Excellency the late John Evans Atamos, exactly. Yes, he also took it upon a mantle to also, as a national leader, to take certain steps. Then from there, President Mahama took over when the late Fifi Atamos died. Then came President Akufo-Addo and his 8 years. With his 8 years, there were projects that they kept in place, which I can mention some, the free SHS. There were other road projects that they decided to take in place. And I must say that with what he said, that the NDC can do more, I wouldn't say no, because I don't know what they're about to do. But I can only talk about what they've been able to do the past years. So with their past records, I can say with their past records, that's why my brother is looking at to say that with their past records, he has that belief that the NDC can go further more to do more things. So that is how
you also side with him and the fact that the present government right now is a hope for an independent nation, right?
I wouldn't say it's a hope for an independent nation. We are
Yes,
just
because from what Joe T was saying, he was driving at a point where he placed all the other governance behind and saying that in progress, as the NDC government, which is in power, led by John Mahama. Yes, John Mahama in this like 2025, we started his governance. Who started his governance like 6 months ago? In the process, from the things he has started doing, we are gearing towards a fully independent nation. From what you said,
Yeah, I mean,
and you also side with him, right?
as I was saying, I side with him, not in all confidence that
What would you say that not with all confidence? What do you mean by not with all confidence?
He is looking at, I think he's looking at their past governance and looking at what they've done now too. He is saying that.
but he can't talk for me.
I see you shaking your head. So I mean, there's something wrong somewhere.
He can't talk for me. So, boss, Mr. Kasim, you talk about me. I still stand by it that I believe so strongly. I mean, compared to the past, now, and the future, I am saying yes, the other past governments have done this, gaining towards independence. But looking at what we went through from 2020 to 2024, in fact, it wasn't something that you and I, you could say clearly, we could now feel the real independence. Because looking at 2020, 2024, economically, so my saying is economically, we are not feeling the economical independence, looking at the measures that have been put in place.
So if I would be very realistic, he talked about Ghana is independent, but not independent in some areas.
Yes, I mean,
and he made mention of economics, and you are saying, right? You made mention of economics,
yes,
and you are saying that looking at our economic stature or the economic stature of the nation
so far,
at the moment, you think this governance is our hope for a full independence country.
Absolutely, because looking
and
at
you
the
said you
measures,
side with him, but not confidently, as you said.
I'm yet to see that. What he said.
So that is, so you agree.
So you agree. Are you in agreement?
That.
No,
I don't think we have to force words into his mouth. He says, yes, he says we live to see.
Do you agree?
Right.
I don't agree.
Okay.
I'm yet to see
what is your point?
I'm yet to see what
because he is saying that you are trying to speak for him. And I don't want it to look like you are speaking for him.
No.
So talk in your own lane.
Okay.
Pick it in your own aspect.
All right.
Or perspective.
All right. In my own understanding, looking at these two governance that has come in power, I would say that yes, the NDC has done massively well. And
I'm sorry not to cut you. We are not basically talking about two parties. We want to generalize it. It's a national development.
Okay.
So let's include the other parties that has played a role in our development. Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. So as I was saying, the NDC has done massively well as the MPP has also done DS.
Yeah.
You know, the MPP came with a lot of policies that I think Ghanaians embrace a lot. The free SHS. It came across, all parents were happy, those sending their children to schools were happy, but I wasn't happy with the free SHS policy. I personally wasn't happy with it, and why I wasn't happy with it was because they were choked in the schools. But
you were not happy with it?
Yes, I wasn't happy with it because they were choked in their schools. When sometimes you visit the schools, you see students are crowded.
So you had the chance. Did you get the chance to visit? Is it a hearsay or something
I personally saw? Okay. I personally experienced. Till when they decided to put on this double track system to break down the crowdness in the school. Yes, till I didn't see it to be a good policy that came, because when you look at developed countries, and we are still a developing country. When you look at a developed country, before they can put down a policy like that, they have to make sure they have infrastructure.
You think Ghana doesn't have infrastructure?
We haven't much up to that.
Okay.
His Excellency John Dramani Mahama actually took that mantle upon himself earlier but the 2016 election wasn't able to prove him much. And that e-block initiative that he took was the best. But where were the complaining coming from? Because he decided to divert and some unnecessary funds that teacher training receives and some other sectors and some other financials to invest into that. And it created a whole chaos in the colleges of education, the 46 colleges of education, that is not giving them the allowance and they have to vote him out. But without infrastructure, how can we have free SHS? Because the moment you mention free, that cocoa farmer at Salaga or Kalandi wants the child to also attend school because he has said that it's free. You see, there will be a match population. So we needed the infrastructure to be there so that when we say, oh, free community-based SHS, who wouldn't want the child to go? But here lies the case, you brought a policy and there's no infrastructure. So I think Ghana, one of the development we are lacking is infrastructure. I'm telling you, you can go to some offices, then you find yourself that, is this a ministry? Is this a whole ministry? You go and find some CEOs where they are being cornered as CEOs.
So in a nutshell, you are saying that the infrastructure of the nation isn't matched up to a developed country's infrastructure.
Yes.
Great. We would come to that. And this is a whole big topic for a different day, which we would really delve into that. Let me come to you, Jyoti. I like your name, so I like it more. That's why I throw more questions to you. Jyoti, with this, what you have said right now, would you say that, do you think Ghana has developed ever since Ghana gained independence, where Kwame Nkrumah did this other development and every other thing, bringing Akosombo Dam and a lot more? Do you think over the years, Ghana has developed or Ghana is still stagnant?
Yes. Before I answer whether yes or no, I would like to just give a preamble of what I want to say.
Okay.
Yes. Ghana has developed significantly, and since 1957, poverty fell from 53%, that is in 1991, to 21% in 2012. Clearly, you could see that we have met the global goal. Yet, however, progress is uneven. Because 25.2% Ghanaians, as I'm talking to you now, live below the poverty line in 2023. Rural areas lack roads and schools. 5.1% youth and unemployment. We have built a foundation. That is what today we are all seeing. We've built a foundation, but rural neglect and job scarcity show we are not yet there or where we should be. We have come far, but then the journey is not done. These are some of the facts that I can use to buttress whether I am going in for a yes or no. But clearly, if you see what is happening, there have been some level of transformation and a level of ongoing transformation, looking at how things are going and what is happening from 1957 till now. The only challenge we have now is when it comes to the unemployment rate in our country, which I'm hoping and believing that with policies from each governance or from each government, I think with time we are able to mitigate it, because as and when the population rate in Ghana keep on increasing and skyrocketing. But I believe as we are putting measures in place, we need to enhance more of the youth to invest more in entrepreneur and all that. So clearly, I will not stand whether yes or no, but all that I'm saying is that there will be an ongoing transformation. So far, so good, but I'm hoping that things will work out as we go.
Okay, so you are saying that you are hoping that things will work out as we go.
Yeah, I mean.
Now, you spoke of the pace. I want to ask you, do you think we are moving in a fast pace? Because let's compare Ghana to other countries, right? We basically have all the resources that we have here in Ghana, but looking at the pace at which we are developing, I mean, we can see that the other countries have developed faster than we have. Meanwhile, we are the ones with the resources. These past governments have done all that they can. Do you think that the pace is still very slow, and do you think they should increase it in some kind of way?
So far, they are trying to lay the pace when it comes to poverty. And we are raising the standard for the school. That is, you can see that a lot of infrastructure have been put in place, trying to see how we can provide opportunities for the youth, not only the youth, but the unemployment rate, to be able to mitigate the rate of poverty. And finally, also to help with the rural and the youth lag. You know, when you look at our dispensation now, the youth are going into a lot of other vices and all that. So I believe with what is happening now, clearly, there have been an ongoing transformation, but I think we need to be a bit innovative with whatever we are doing in terms of our policies and ideas so that it can fit in our current dispensation or in our current world now, because as and when things are evolving. So I believe with time, things will also evolve as well.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Joseph Tete, aka Joe T. So let's come to you, Mr. Kasim. Do you also think that Ghana has gained developments for these many years?
Yes, there have been much development in Ghana, but I wouldn't say rapidly, because with Ghana's development at this stage, I would say it's a progressive measures that has been taken in place. Just as sometimes we find it that the government comes in place and you see that things are going down instead of accelerating. So these are some of the challenges that we face. But when we say development, when we look at since 1957 to date, there have been much development in this country called Ghana, and there is still more going. And we as Ghanaians, as citizens, we are expecting more to come. But we want to see how fast the pace will be. So Ghana has developed, because when you check statistically, things has actually changed. And we are also entering the global market. When you look at our industries, when you look at into our economy, agriculture, now we are using modern technologies to also improve our lifestyle. When you look at the olden days till now, things have totally, absolutely changed. So I will say they've been a development, and there is development, and we are still developing. And I understand we are a developing country, so I'm trusting the process for that.
Nice one.
All you're trying to say is that Ghana is still in the development process. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that is what I'm
but
saying.
If we talk about developed as a developed nation, we've not gotten there yet.
We've not gotten
at this point, if you ask me to rate it, I'll say Ghana has 45%.
45%.
If you give me a percent, I'll give 60%.
No, I'll
you give 60%.
Yes.
Okay, so wait. Why do you say 45%?
Yes.
Why do you think you give it 45? You give Ghana a 45%? When it comes to development.
Yes. When you look at a developed country now and Ghana as a developing country, there's mad differences. There's a lot of policies we don't understand. I'm telling you today that there are a lot of policies both MPP and NDC has brought that are not beneficial to development. That doesn't come across development. I'm telling you one point.
And you can pinpoint them out.
I can pinpoint them out.
I'm coming. Finish with it and you pinpoint them out for me.
I'm ready to do that. I'm ready to do that. So let's look at a country like the UK. The UK. You see how things are flexible. They are very strict with their policies. Let me say, if the UK tells you that we are going to match up with employment this year, we are going to employ 50,000 people. They will make sure at least if they don't get the 50,000, they will get 48% or 45%. Let's look at the statistics of Ghana, that a presidential candidate or a member of parliament who is trying to get into governance when it's campaign time, the promises they made, the policies they state. And it seems the moment they get into the office, they've forgotten about it. They go to parliament, deliberate on it. By the time you hear, scanner for baby.
With those things, don't you think that when they come into governance, what they see from the outside is different from what they see inside?
So don't say what you cannot do. As me, Kasim, as somebody that I'm trying to make an impact one day, help in developing the country. You come and tell me that, I'll build a bridge across Yeji. There's a distance between Yeji and Mankango. There's a river there. You come and tell me that you build a bridge when you come to power. Then you come to power, then nothing of that sort. One thing I might say is that when we decide to look at education, when we look at education from ever since we gained independence, I've not seen much progressiveness because I was once a teacher trainee, and what we are being taught in the school, when you get to the field, is totally different. You get to the classroom, and what you want to even make an impact, they will tell you that, well, that's what you learned in school. You are no more in school. This is what we are doing here. So, for example, I studied bachelor's of degree. Nanado Dankwa introduced a policy, the first batch of degrees. And most people in the system are diploma holders. Most people of them are diploma holders. So we completed, most of our colleagues went to the field. When I was doing my national service, I had an encounter like that. You go, then you are trying to implement policies like right to play that we learn in school to go out and when, and they will tell you, we don't have time for this. We have our time for this. Meanwhile, these are policies that were brought up. These are policies that British government brought money to invest in, some of, gave us the knowledge. But when you go to the field, they will tell you to the extent the person told our director will come and do this, director doesn't like the director doesn't. I was like, so if we want to develop, are we seeing that part? And minister so you see so I'm looking at the moment Ghana we're able to change our mindset and do what we are expected.
So all you're trying to say that people get in power and they do what they like instead of doing what will help the people.
They don't do what they like, I must say, but what they do, I will say,
what they deem fit.
Yes. And they will tell you their strength cannot get there, even with the policies. And
I would also say that what they deem fit is probably what they have analyzed and think would work. But you are saying it is not fit because maybe how you've also analyzed things, that won't work for you. Can I put it that way?
I can't tell a 5-year-old child that, when you get to 10 years old, I'll take you outside. You know, it will be in his memory. So you can't come and tell us that, okay, I'm going to make sure we cut off poverty at a certain rate.
Yeah, certain rate.
Do you get me? I'm going to make sure unemployment is going to be reduced. Do you get me? Then you come to office and you tell us that there are no jobs. One thing I'm expecting from this government is their 24 hours. Although I've heard that some sectors have started doing that. So these are measures. So I'm looking forward. But you can't make a promise knowing that you don't have the resources to fulfill your promise. Then you are making that. So as politicians, as our politicians out there, and as those of us who want to enter politics one day, are planning and trying to get to the top, let's start to make promises we can. Even if you know that, no, I'm going to do this. Let me make sure I convince the people.
What you are saying, these are manifestos.
Yes.
Right? And so if they should make promises they can, that means they have to get in there first to know what they can do. Right?
No. Then that is not what we are about to. I think that's the mindset of Ghanaians that we need to change. If we are looking at development, if we are talking about development, if we want the nation to develop, we should stop making. I've not seen Donald Trump coming to tell you that I'm going to before the election, before Donald Trump came to power, there were black friends I had, and they said, when they come, they are going to scrutinize them, they are going to increase their fees. The man hasn't said anything about them, the blacks living in America. But they know what the man does anytime he comes to power. He didn't go to stand at any place to make promises that when they come, I'm going to do deportation. Do you get me? He says that when he comes to power, he's going to make sure that unless you have the right necessities, you have a job, you have a green card, you have the right permit, he's going to stop illegal immigrants. And that is what he's doing. Do you get me? So when we come to Africa, Ghana, we like promising too much. Meanwhile, we want to get there. Some of them have been there and they know how it is, and they still make those
I'm not cutting you, right. Mr. Kasim. Joti, when he was making his point, he made some statements that Ghanaians do not follow strict policy. They do not follow their policies strictly. Yes, I know those countries are developed, but in other words, he's comparing those countries to Ghana.
A developing country.
Ghana is a developing country. Yes. So in other words, he's comparing Ghana, which is a developing country, to the developed countries. And he's saying that their policies are strict. They follow their policies with some sort of strictness. What do you have to say about that? And it's trying to mean that Ghana, we make policies and we just make policies and we don't follow the policies that we made.
Okay, so I would love to test the consciousness of what he said. Clearly, if you try to compare developing country to a developed country, that's a challenge. That's why when he rated the 45%, I had a challenge with it, because you can't compare a developed country to a developing country. And most of the things he was saying, I was just stating it here. Now, if you don't take it, this will turn into an argumentative.
That's not what we are aiming. Let's share your thoughts. Let me correct you.
I mean, he mentioned a few other things which I'm really want to challenge those things.
Okay,
because if you are relating the things you stated, that they should stop giving manifesto, if I heard him clear, and also saying that he's believing, politicians shouldn't come and give promises and all that. Donald Trump that you're talking about, UK, as at the time, Sunak, the likes of Boris Johnson and co, they were there. They gave promises on how to work. They have particular issues that they were trying to work on. Clearly, Ghana, the challenges that Ghanaians are facing, that is what helps or sparks those the politicians to come out and then give manifestos, so that at least it can be able to, when they come into power, it will guide them or as a framework. He mentioned the 24-hour economy. He mentioned the 24-hour economy that he's yet to see. He has seen that 24-hour economy is a framework. So this is the framework. If your company can suit to that, then you come in that, okay, this company or me can relate to this 24-hour economy where you do the 3 shifts. That is all 24-hour economy stands for. It's a framework. Now, he made mention of his hometown where you can't come and promise you do a bridge, blah, 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 and all that. They've done bridges in other regions and all that, where even over a river and across a river and all that. It's about, okay, if we are to do this bridge over here, how is it going to be sustainable? What are the reasons we are supposed to do those bridges? Is it for business purposes? Is it for people, for transit purposes, and all that to other regions? So I think these are areas that helps to make Ghana a developed country, or to become a developed country. We are getting there. I'm not here to really give a numeric percentage, even though I gave the initial
I
one.
was just about asking that,
even though
I was asking to break it down.
Even though I gave the 60%, clearly I can say that I would rescind on that 60% and say that I'm not really here to give any numerical percentage. But all that I want to say is that there's an ongoing transformation. Look at what the current president is doing. Clearly, you could see that if we all come together with our collectiveness and our hard work together, it would help to make sure that we get there. It's an ongoing. He has started something. I'm not saying that His Excellency is a savior of this country, but then you could see that he has brought some surge. There's a kind of surge of joy and a glimmer of hope in the hearts of people. That clearly we could all resonate to that. Oh, indeed, there is hope for our country. So if I'm saying Ghana is developing and Ghana will develop, I am in the right direction.
I think my brother didn't get me well. Let me make a few corrections of what he just said.
Okay.
Before you continue, let me remind our viewers that this program is proudly brought to you by DAYSTYLLE Fashion. At DAYSTYLLE Fashion, if you want anywhere, kaftan, male and female kaftan, kids wear for ceremonials, every other wears that you need, do not look elsewhere than DAYSTYLLE Fashion. At DAYSTYLLE, we say every day in style. And also FekaTek Ventures for all your quality MiFis, internet routers, Starlink devices, and all the others. Do not look elsewhere than FekaTek Ventures. At FekaTek Ventures, we say we are here to serve. So, Mr. Kasim, I'm back to you.
All right.
Let's continue what you were saying.
Thank you very much. I would like to make some few corrections about what my brother was just. I think he didn't get my point. Where I said they make promises and policies which they don't fulfill. A promise and a policy are two different things. There were policies that were sent to the government, the previous government, about this SkyTrain. This is a policy that was being discussed in Parliament. Monies were approved. This is a policy. And I also said that mostly they do make promises, a lot of promises that they are not able to fulfill.
But your promises means manifestos. Yes. As you were saying,
and I also spoke about policies. But he is trying to tell me that I was just looking at the promises and no. I said they do make promises. So they shouldn't make promises they can't fulfill. Yes, I have my opinion. I have my stance to tell them because I'm a Ghanaian.
Okay.
And I need to tell them, you can't come and be telling us every day this, every day that, and you are not doing it. Then I should sit down and tell that it's a framework. You approve a policy in parliament.
According to what Joe T was saying, he was saying that every government that will come into power or standing for the presidency looks at the situation of the people and then comes with those promises as to when he comes to power, he will be able to do those things to better the lives of the people, which looks like a framework. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes. Which looks like a framework to guide the president when he's in power so that he doesn't forget himself, because that is what a framework looks like. Something that guides you on a path. Yes. And so I'm not siding him, neither am I siding you, but you're making a point. I just wanted you to understand. I just wanted to get where he's also coming from, so that you can also
there are
get
two
your
different
right.
things about what I said. A policy and the promise.
And a promise.
I am saying that the promises they are making, they should stop making promises they can't fulfill. But when I was talking about the policies, I said there are policies that they also implement and the right things are not even done.
Okay.
Example like the SkyTrain, which now has landed us into court. Monies were $20,000 has been given out and nothing has come out of it. We don't even have a single metal that shows that yes, the monies that were approved. So these are policies that have been approved. So if you make a promise, go to parliament, have your people to maneuver and pass the policy out, monies will be granted and things are not being done. Do you get me?
So are you saying that policies are not giving that strictness of we forcing it or trying to make it come to pass or make it
we don't track it. We don't track them unless sometimes findings are being made and they realize that the policies that were being made are not fulfilled. Funds are being given to contractors and the rules are not done. Wow.
Okay, let's come back to you, Joti. Before I ask the last question, I want to know, you made a statement that we cannot compare a developing country like Ghana to other developed countries. And I want to know what is so special about the developed countries that makes it impossible for us to compare. Because if we are even pinpointing on who is special, I think we can say that we as Ghanaians have something we can call valuable. We have all of the items, we have all the minerals that we need to develop our country. So what is going on? Why can't we make that comparison?
Thank you, Royalty, for this question.
Okay.
Yes, the main reason why I'm saying we can't compare developed country to a developing country is because the developed country gives the developing country aid. Recently, when Donald Trump canceled the American and the US aid to Ghana, you could see how we were shivering. So clearly, can a developing country be compared to a developing? Yes, I agree. Developing country, we may have our own specialties, our uniqueness in terms of our culture, in terms of our way of life and all that. But in terms of developed infrastructure, in terms of our economy and all that, clearly we can't compare a developed country to a developing country. Let me give an example. You see what's happening between Israel and then Iran war and then US has joined. Imagine, I've ever seen in any African country that we've been in such war that and we will say we are having drones, missiles and all that. Africa or in Ghana here, have you ever seen that we have a missile before? Clearly. So we are a developing country. Those developed countries, they help us. Those developed countries, they help us. So please, I think in terms of, we can argue from different aspects, but where I stand in terms of mine being Ghana, we can't compare developed country and developing country. Is looking at the areas in terms of their security, in terms of economy, in terms of their infrastructure.
Great.
Thank you.
Great. Okay. I think with the points being said, I think we have a lot of things we have to delve deep into, but because of our time, we will not be able to delve that deep. Let's just move straight to our last question. Mr. Joti, you just finished. Let me just move to Kasim. Kasim, under whose governance do you really see the development of Ghana take a very big turn?
Okay, this is a very good question you've asked. There have been much differences. There have been falls and rises between governances since we gained independence. And if you give me this opportunity, I'll tell you Kwame Nkrumah. And because when we look at what Kwame Nkrumah has done within 1956 to 1961, the opportunities he used, he had, and he was able to utilize it. The projects that he was able to brought up has not been matched ever since our people other governance came.
Has not been matched.
It can never be matched. I'm still waiting for any political party or any governance that can come within that short pace that Kwame Nkrumah was able to do that.
Wow.
Yes.
So Mr. Kasim says it has not been matched up until now. What is your take on that?
Thank you so much. In our Fourth Republic, I would go in for, I don't want to compare my kind of one that I suggest to you. So I'll mention Fourth Republic to be on the safer side. On our Fourth Republic, I'll go for former President, His Excellency John Evans Atta Mills of blessed memory, 2009 to 2012. It was a turning point as oil production began in 2010, which drove GDP growth to a record of 14% in 2011. And it boosted revenue for social programs like NHIS and also increments in salaries and all that. I mean, this focus on physical discipline, and you could also see that during Atta Mills' time, you could see there's some level of physical discipline and peace that laid a strong foundation. Though the oil wealth didn't fully transform lives due to the global price risks. But clearly, if you look at that while maybe I may bring in John Rawlings or Jerry John Rawlings of blessed memory, his reforms in the 1980s also stabilized Ghana after the coup. So Mills' era sparked economic hope that we must now build on, or which we are now building on. So Mills' oil boom sparked hope for a new era. So clearly I would go in for the former president.
Great one. Also soon we have to bring this show to an end. And don't forget that this show was proudly brought to you by DAYSTYLLE Fashion for all your kaftans and all your wears, both female and male. Do not look elsewhere than DAYSTYLLE Fashion. At DAYSTYLLE Fashion, we say that every day in style. And FekaTek Ventures for all your quality MiFi's and internet routers, Starlink devices and accessories. Don't look anywhere else than FekaTek Ventures. At FekaTek Ventures, we say we are here to serve. So this has been a very powerful conversation, from education to economics to almost every aspect, to leadership, and everywhere we touched on it. And we can say that Ghana's development is a journey of progress. It's a very complex one, and it's in progress. We still have a long way to go as well. And so, Mr. Joti, what are your last words?
Yeah, thank you. To speed up development, I am suggesting that Ghana should diversify into manufacturing and tech to create jobs for the 11.1% of youth, not in education or work. And we need to also improve the free SHS with better teachers and facilities, and also equip farmers with molding tools to cut poverty. The poverty as it stands in 2023 now is at 25.3%. So clearly we need to improve. And building rural roads and hospitals, we need to fight corruption. We need to fight corruption with transparent systems, and also to engage youth in policy and startups. I believe this will ensure everyone benefits. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Kasim, your last words.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm very proud of being a Ghanaian, and we are still a developing country. So we are looking forward. So as every youth out there, we are still a developing country. So we need to match up our skills, get ourselves involved in governance, to make sure that we match up to fast track our country being developed country. Though we have a long way to go, I believe personally that we'll get there.
Wow. Personally, we will get there. Thank you for tuning in once again. Let the conversation go beyond this platform. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and keep building Ghana. I am your host, Nana Yao Charles. Call me NYC for short. You can also call me Charlie Thursday, with my co-host.
Of course, I am your co-host, Angela Teria Dade. But of course, you can call me Royalty. And this has been National Vibe. See you next time. Bye.